a lot of times when we hear that we should purify ourselves in order to connect with the Qur'an, oddly, some people might feel insulted in some way, like they are being called impure. And so I've heard this before myself, and it is a common question. So maybe we can answer this. I know it's a theological slash philosophical, in some sense, question. Is the human being, according to Islamic theology, is the human being impure?
I mean, according to our aqidah, our belief is that we don't have this idea of a fallen nature in the way that Christianity took up that idea. There is no bad or broken nature from which we are to be redeemed or saved. So there's no salvation in that sense, i.e. being saved from some kind of inherited sinful state. We don't have that idea of transfer of sin. So no, we don't have this idea of where we are intrinsically impure. Rather, what is the case is that we have the potential to transgress, to defile, and to violate. And the Malaika mentioned this, the angels did raise this with Allah Azza wa Jal, that would Allah place one of his representatives on earth, giving them free will, that are going to cause corruption and shed blood. So we have the potential to sin and violate, defile, and things like that. But we don't have this sort of intrinsic broken nature. And so, alhamdulillah, this is not from our aqidah, our belief. Now, where I think some issues of this idea arise is with regards to the idea of something called the nafs, and it's variously translated. It's a very sort of complex term. It occurs many times in the Qur'an in many different variances, and it's variously translated as the self, the soul, and things like that. But if we were to sort of narrow it down and to give two broad meanings, the nafs, one meaning of the nafs could be, or is, the power of anger and sort of your base sexual appetites. And in this sense, the word nafs is a comprehensive word for all the evil attributes that a human being attaches itself to or acquires, like jealousy, hatred, arrogance, things like that. So I think some people think because we have a nafs, we must therefore be intrinsically bad or evil, and so our purpose in life is to rid ourselves from our nafs. That's not quite accurate. It's just the nafs is a disposition or a power to have aggression and this kind of inclination, sexual or base inclination. So what we're required to do is not change our nature from bad to good. We're required to struggle against the nafs when it becomes overpowering. So this is where we get this idea of mujahadatul nafs. So al-mujahid man jahada nafsahu fi ta'atillah, or kama qala Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. And the hadith is hasan. The hadith is a good hadith. And so the Prophet said that the mujahid, the combatant, the fighter, is the one who fights against his own appetites and desires, i.e. his nafs. So we're required to bring the nafs under control and subjugate it. And it's a condition to enter Jannah, actually, in fact. So there's that meaning of nafs. And then there's the nafs that is the human being in reality, i.e. the person itself. And this is described in various ways in the Qur'an, in various states. And we have the three famous states mentioned in the Qur'an. We have al-nafs al-ammara bis-su', the soul that enjoins or inclines to evil. And this is a state of an individual who protests and relinquishes obedience to Allah Azza wa Jal and really follows his desires and passions. That's the nafs al-ammara bis-su'. That's the individual who has succumbed to his passions. Then you have a nafs al-lawwama, the self-accusing soul. This is a state of a person who's struggling against their passions and their desires, and they're rebuking themselves for neglecting worshipping Allah Azza wa Jal. And then you got the third type of nafs or individual, and that is the nafs al-mutma'inna. This is the individual who is calm and ready to surrender to Allah, having eliminated all distractions and disturbances from the desire. So it's not that we have an evil nature. We have potentials to be bad and potentials to take on bad qualities. And if we do, we are obligated to struggle to rid them, to rid ourselves of them. Allah knows best. Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khairan, Dr. Safaruk. That's a great explanation. You made me think of the ayat in Surah Al-Shams. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by the nafs. فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Gave you the potential to choose the path of evil, fujur, and taqwa, the path of God consciousness, mindfulness, righteousness. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. And then it continues. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, He has succeeded, the one who purifies the nafs.